What kind of leader are you? One thing that we know the world needs today is a lot more of good leadership. We need it more in our families, we need it more in our workplaces, we need it more in our neighborhoods, and even in our churches. We just need more leaders to rise up. And so today we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about the basics of leadership. I'm not going to get too deep into any big theories, but we're going to go through kind of an overview of the leadership and some common styles of leadership. And then you're going to have a chance to do a couple of group activities as well as do a short assessment to assess your own leadership style. So you can just kind of leave here with a better understanding of what kind of leader you tend to be. So we're going to talk more about all of that as we go forward. Let's see here. So here's an interesting scripture that I thought would be great for us to look at. It's Proverbs 29 verse 18. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Everyone is looking for the secret to great leadership. We all want to know what's the key, what's the magic code, to being a good leader. And one thing we know is God, he's the best leader out there. He is the greatest leader. He's the greatest model for us to follow concerning leadership. And what he has to say is, if there's no vision, the people will run all over themselves and cast all restraint. So one thing that he says is you got to have vision. You have to give the people that are following you a vision. Otherwise, they will perish. They will lose everything. They won't be on the road to any kind of success or prosperity. So this is what he has to say about leadership. I also have one other quote I wanted to show you. This is from Colin Powell. Everybody knows who Colin Powell is? Yeah. He had this to say. I thought it was interesting. And he says, you have achieved excellence as a leader when people will follow you wherever you go, if only out of curiosity. I thought that was interesting because, a lot of people will follow you because maybe they think you're a great person or they like what you stand for. But he's saying here, that's wonderful, but you also know that you've achieved great leadership, even if the person doesn't know anything about you, but they're just curious about where are they going. I just want to get behind them and see where is this going to end. And that's the laissez-faire leadership style approach. So we talked about 5 different leadership approaches. So the question is, can you have more than one? We talked about charismatic. We talked about transformational. We talked about transactional. We talked about servant leadership. And we talked about laissez-faire. You think you can have more than one? Why? Anybody? Why do you think you can have more than one?
Because I think a lot of times it depends on the situation and that leader's abilities.
Okay.
And some circumstances may dictate that they're great in front of the room, but maybe not so good getting details ironed out. So, they can't maybe carry out all those tasks and inspire and do what they need other people to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very good. The answer is yes. For what reason? What she just said. A good leader will employ a combination of several or aspects of all of these leadership styles at different times, depending on the situation. However, we tend to gravitate to one style as our dominant approach to leading. So yeah, you can have a different leadership approach. And the truth is, a good leader actually is able to employ components of all at different times, depending on the situation. So one situation... Awesome. Okay, good. So I'm glad you finished your activity. So now we're just going to see how you did before we do the next activity, which will be you picking your leadership style. So why don't you guys just report? Let's see what you did. Tell me what you got in each box. Just curious before I put the answers up. Just read them off.
Okay, we got
Read my right.
transformational, Walt Disney, Gandhi, MLK, Bill Gates, and Lincoln.
Okay.
Servant, Jesus Christ and Mother Teresa. Charismatic, Hitler, Mandela, Washington, McCarthy, and Clinton. Transactional, Henry Ford.
Okay. All right, you got 13 names. So you got them all somewhere. All right, you ready to see?
Yeah.
All right, see how many you got right, okay? Here we go. All right, so transformational comes up as Walt Disney. I think you got that one.
That was right.
Bill Gates,
Got that right.
Dr. MLK,
Got that right.
and did you get Nelson Mandela? No. Okay.
You didn't get it. Okay.
So you got, these are the transformational. For servant, did you get Jesus Christ?
Yeah. So.
Okay, did you get Gandhi?
No.
Okay. And did you get George Washington? Probably not. All right. Okay, we'll go back through. Okay, how about charismatic? Did you get Bill Clinton?
Yes.
Did you get Adolf Hitler?
Yes.
Did you get Mother Teresa under charismatic?
No.
Ah, okay. And then under transactional, did you get Henry Ford?
Yes.
How about Abraham Lincoln?
No.
Joseph McCarthy?
No.
No. Okay, so remember some of the key aspects. Transformational, it was the, appealing to moral values part, but also remember that the vision the individual cast is a vision that even lasts when they're not in the forefront. Okay? So we have, for obvious reasons, you probably said, okay, Dr. MLK, Nelson Mandela, maybe for transformational, but Walt Disney, he transformed the world with his vision, his ideas, and even long after he's gone, Disney is still thriving right now. And then, of course, Bill Gates with his invention of the PC. I heard you guys having some good conversation around where to put him. And even though he may not have, you could argue if it was a moral thing or not, but he does have a huge foundation, Bill Gates Foundation, that now that he has gotten to a certain level, he's actually giving back to the greater good. So he's doing that, but also his idea is one that actually outlasted, it's still going on, the PC, the computer, the whole idea, technology is continuing, okay? Then under servant, we said that servants are self-sacrificing. They also establish, their relationships with their followers through a sense of honesty and transparency. I know Jesus Christ fits under there, obviously, and then I heard you guys having a conversation about if Gandhi fit under there. Based on the research, Gandhi fits under there because of his self-sacrificing nature. Even, love or hate doesn't matter. It's just based on the definition, he fits there. And then, of course, you say, well, George Washington, too. Well, the same is George Washington is known for a lot of different things, but one of the things he's known for is his honesty. That's one thing he's known for throughout history. Cherry tree, the whole thing. Yeah, so under there, but there's a reason that he had that reputation. He had an ability to develop those relationships with his followers. One in which he's seeking to help others, seeking to be honest, seeking to be transparent. Again, love or hate doesn't matter based on the definition, and that's where he fits. Okay? Then under charismatic, I know you got Bill Clinton. You also got Adolf Hitler, I think, right? Right. Because these are individuals that rise up at a time when everyone's kind of just around and figuring out, what should we do? What should we do? Hey, I have an idea. And then the idea could be good or bad, notorious or not. It's an idea. And did they rally people? Yes. Mother Teresa, in the same box, charismatic. The thing is, she gave her life to the poor. But you think, well, why don't she go under servant then? Well, the thing is, she rose up and met a need at a time when there's so much hurt and pain. No one was doing that. Even though she wasn't like flamboyant with it, but her actions rallied a lot of people around an issue that no one wanted to look at. The poorest of the poor, charismatic. And of course, unfortunately, when she passed, I haven't yet seen a Mother Teresa type again. Remember, the charismatic leader there for a time, but after, the moment passed, after they leave the room, who's still there cheering for that cause? And there are others that are kinda, but on her level, not yet. Okay, so that's the definition. And then, of course, transactional. If you do this, I'll give you that. Okay, so you had Henry Ford. I know you guys are struggling too with Abraham Lincoln. And he was very transactional in his leadership approach. He wasn't a charismatic guy at all. You could argue maybe was he transformational, but really it was just his leadership style was one in which if you do this, I will do that. The Emancipation Proclamation came. That was a result of an agreement. I'll do this if you do that. And Joe McCarthy was a cultist. Is that the right word? Cult leader of some sort. Am I right? Am I saying it right? No. McCarthyism.
You're thinking of Jim Jones.
I am thinking of Jim Jones. Never mind, it's not Jim Jones. Yeah, he fits under transactional in his approach. And I think that's it, right? We covered everybody? Good. All right, so now we're going to go through and look at your leadership style. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
All right, what's your style? So now I have here, these are our leadership scorecards. And I'm going to give you a leadership scorecard to write your scores down as we go through a list of questions on the screen. And at the end of the questioning, then you're going to tally it, and then we're going to talk about your results. And then you will know which leadership style you're more closely related to, so to speak. But remember, we said you can have more than one and all of that. But we're going to see what, which one or ones come up the top for you. How about that? Does that sound fun? All right, let's do that. All right, now, I'm going to give you the scorecard, but you got to promise not to look at the back. Can't look at the back until I say it's time. So you're just going to look at this side right now, and this is where you're going to put your answers now. And then at the end of the questions, we'll flip it over and tally and all that stuff. Cool? All right, so there's 4 there.